Hi all, welcome to the new session. This is VC from VC's Academy. In today's class, we will discuss about one of the important chapter which is useful for all competitive sector as well as in class 8th and 9th. Concept is cell, the basic unit of life. So what we will learn today? Firstly, we will learn what is a cell and who discovered and how the discovery of cell took place, number of cells and shape of cells. This is very basic concept which we can complete in a short time. Please go through the concept till the end so that you will get a clear understanding about the basics of the concept cell. Let's see one by one. First we will see what is a cell. So the question we can ask is, what is a cell? In general, I gave the animal cell diagram here, which is having all the cell organelles. So what is a cell? In general, we can define cell as the basic structural and functional unit of life, or it is the source to which an organism is developed, or how an organism is developed is based on cell. Cell is compared to bricks. In order to construct a wall, we need bricks. So in order to develop an organism completely, cell is required. So that is the basic introduction about cell. Coming to the discovery. So when we talk about the discovery or naming of the cell, firstly we have to remember the 17th century scientist Mr. Robert Hooke. In the year 1665, Robert Hooke discovered the cell. How he discovered? Robert Hooke observed the slices of cork and he studied carefully the slice of cork using his magnifying lens, which we made by his own, and he noticed that the cork consists of partitioned boxes or compartments in it. So what he observed using his magnifying lens, he observed that the slice which he took from the cork consists of partitioned boxes or compartments in it, and these appeared as if they are like honeycomb. When we observe the diagram of the cell, we can see it like as it is in honeycomb. And not only that, he also observed that these structures are actually dead cells. So the things what understood by observing a slice of cork is that the cork consists of compartments that which appear like honeycomb, and he also observed that these are actually dead cells. We can see the diagram of the cork and the image of the magnifying lens which Robert Hooke used, and he called these dead boxes or compartments as cell. So he concluded and called these dead boxes or small little spaces as compartments. In Latin, cell is called as cella, which means small room. So in Latin, cell is called as cella, which means small room. As we use the Latin term here, cella, and this is the term used as cell for the dead parts or the dead boxes which observed by Robert Hooke in the slice of the cork. And for nearly about 150 years after the discovery of the cell, Robert Brown discovered nucleus. So what is nucleus? It is the main control center of the cell, and this was discovered around 150 years after the discovery of the cell by Robert Hooke. So who is accredited with nucleus? Robert Brown, and with cell, Robert Hooke. And if you talk about cells, cells are majorly complex when we talk in living organisms, and in non-living, as we compared cells with bricks, it doesn't mean that bricks are living, but here what we want to consider is, as bricks are important for the construction of the wall, the organism construction, we need cell. And in order to study the detailed structure of the cell, any scientist will use stains. Why the scientist use stains? The scientist use stains as Stains give color variation to various parts of the cell. To study the detailed structure of the cell, scientists use stains as stains. In order to study the detailed structure of the cell, scientists use stains. What is the benefit of using stain? When we use stain, we can get different color variations to various parts of the cell, so that we can study about each and every organelle which is present in the cell. That is the reason why we use stain while studying the structure of cell. Coming to the number of cells. So generally we have two types of cells. One is plant cell and the other one is animal cell. Different group of cells perform a variety of functions. When we talk about a particular group of cells, they perform a particular cells, and when we talk about other sector of cells, they do a variety of other functions. Each and every part of our body is made up of cell, and each cell is mentioned or utilized to do a variety of function which our body needs metabolically. The number of cells being small in small organism doesn't in any way affect the functioning of the organism. So what I wanted to try to say here is that even the number is less in small organisms. The number of cells may vary unicellular or multicellular or large or small animals, but it does not affect in any way the functioning of the organism, like its various metabolic activities. Coming to the one more important point which is to be noted here is that based on the number of cells, organisms are categorized mainly into two types. What are they? The first one is unicellular. Examples here we can take amoeba, paramecium and euglena, which are unicellular, and the other sector is a multicellular. So we have n number of examples here which I took from the human body structures. Single celled organisms are called unicellular organisms. So what are single celled organisms called? Single celled organisms are called unicellular organisms. Example: amoeba, paramecium and euglena. Coming to the other points of single cell, as single cell is capable of performing all the necessary functions that multicellular organisms perform, these single cell organisms are called unicellular organisms. And the organisms which are made up of more than one cell are called multicellular organisms. So what are multicellular organism example? The human cells or the human body is an example for multicellular organism. And when we talk about the functioning of cells in multicellular organisms, the multicellular organisms functioning is more complex when compared to unicellular organisms. Coming to the shape of the cell, so we have various cells from the human body here, and which have different shapes. There are different shapes and sizes for cell. Their organs also vary in size and shape. The shape of the cell is due to cell membrane in both plants and animals. It not only gives shape but also rigidity to the cell. So when we talk about the shape of the cell, so when we see various cells, they all have different shapes and different sizes, and in cells there are various cell organelles. Their organelles are also having various size and shape, and the size and shape of the cell is due to cell membrane which is present in both plants and animals. And not only this, it also gives rigidity to the cell. Which gives rigidity to the cells? The cell membrane gives rigidity to the cell. And different cells possess different sizes and shapes. Example: amoeba, paramecium, which are examples for unicellular organisms, and we will talk about amoeba here. Amoeba has no defined shape, and it keeps on changing its body by protruding cell surface into various lens called pseudopodia. So when we talk about the movement in amoeba and the shape of amoeba, amoeba doesn't have a defined shape and it is always irregular in shape and it keeps on changing. And how it changes, so it protrudes the cell surface into various lengths or projections called pseudopodia. A pseudopodia means false foot through which the amoeba moves, and it changes its structure. These projections appear and disappear as amoeba moves and feeds. As we know that with the help of pseudopodia only, amoeba can get the food and it also moves. So these appear and disappear as amoeba moves and feeds in the water bodies. And coming to one more example in the human blood cell is white blood cells, which we call WBC, is another example for single cell. And different cells in human beings such as blood, muscle, nerve cell are having different shapes. When we come to the human beings cells like blood, muscle and nerve cell, these are also having different shapes and different sizes. These different shapes are related to their specific function. So what makes them different and having different shape? These shapes helps in relating them to their specific function. Generally, cells are round, spherical, spindle or elongated. So when we see in general, the cells are either round, oval, spherical, spindle or elongated. So cells may be round, spherical, spindle or elongated. Some cells are branched. So when we talk about round or oval structures, we can talk about the RBC, and spindle shape we can talk about the muscle cell. And when we talk about the cells which are branched, we can talk about the human nerve cell. So that is about the basics of the lesson cell. In my next class, we will continue the concepts which are in the lesson cell, the basic unit of life. Hope you all are understanding my concept clearly, and if you have any queries, please comment us and subscribe us.